How would you make this shape here in Blender with completely clean shading, even though the topology is somewhat messy and usually this wouldn't work well in vanilla Blender? Well, this is actually very easy to do. I'm going to show you exactly how in this video using add-ons. So if you hate add-ons, don't watch this video. Let's get started. Alright, so I decided to use a reflective matte cap to really illustrate the issues here and how to fix them. So if I wanted to union a complex shape like this, well, not really complex, but the union result would be complex to something like this, you're going to have not only shading errors, you're just going to have a topology mess, and you're going to have to, clean that up. Now, if you need perfect, sub-D, clean, perfect topology, perfect 100% shading, I would not recommend this approach. This is for stuff like concept art, where you want to just get clean shading. You're not too worried about the topology. This would even work outside of Blender as long as the shape is manifold, but beyond that, there are going to be limitations here, just clarifying that. So what we need to do here is we need to union these two together. Now, there's not really a vanilla strategy to make this work well. If you're completely anti-add-on, I would just recommend leaving the video now because we're going to be using add-ons to make this work, specifically Mesh Machine. I'm going to go ahead and union these two together. The first problem is going to be very obvious. We're going to have a nasty shading stretch right here. Now, if you're, somewhat new, let me explain why this happens. Whenever we run a union, let me just apply that boolean. When we union that together, that's going to create this large n-gon right here on a curved surface, which is going to cause those shading distortions there. That's why those occur. Same on this area of this part, you're going to have a bunch of n-gons here. It's not very obvious, but we do have 1, 2, 3. Actually, in that case, that's a quad, but right here, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vertices for that face. If I were to, maybe merge that, this particular face would have clean shading. But regardless, we're going to have a big shading issue here, which we also need to take care of. So I'm going to show you a more advanced approach here, and this should all make sense. So before we run any sort of boolean here, we want to have a bit of a prep work done. So what I'm going to do with this shape here is I'm going to duplicate it with Shift D. Then I'm just going to hide that. We'll just name this something random, and we're going to hide that. I'm also going to take this shape right here, duplicate that. We'll just call this O2, and we're going to hide that one as well. Now at this point, we have backups, and you'll see why those backups are important. And at this point, we can go ahead and run our union boolean. The first thing I want to do to mitigate the shading here is I want to add some extra loops into here, just like that. And then same thing on the actual cutter object. I'm going to go to that and then just make this, roughly even as well. Now, as a result of doing that, if we go in here, most of this area is now clean. The shading's not that bad until we zoom in. And the reason is because we now have these much smaller n-gons, so the shading is much more preserved into these areas. It's still not very appealing, but it is better. Now the next thing we're going to need to do here is we're going to have to use Mesh Machine to actually run the bevel. Now in a CAD software this would be no problem because we're not dealing with polygons, but in Blender obviously we have polygons. So if I run a bevel here, we're going to have a mess of overlaps, which just obviously looks terrible. This is where the offset cut feature in Mesh Machine is going to come in handy, but we do have to make some tweaks to it. I'm going to click on that button. And by default, it's not going to work. So I'm going to adjust the width a little bit. And some areas it's going to work, other areas it's not. Let's say I wanted the bevel to be, this large, maybe right around there. The first thing I need to do is I need to increase the factor a little bit. And if that's not working well, we also need to go here to smooth and increase the iterations. This is going to smooth out the actual roundness of the boolean and kind of remove those very obvious issues we have. So what I'm going to do is adjust the factor a bit. You can make this as large as you want, maybe the factor to about there. So it'll kind of span up to this point. And then for iterations, you can just kind of, play with that and see which result works well for you. I try to just find one that looks roughly even without harming the geometry too much. I want to keep that even all the way around. And this is going to be a decent enough result right here. Now, there's a few other settings in here. You don't really need to use them. You can play with them sometimes. For example, there's going to be an optimize feature. I don't really use that too much. There's going to be an exact feature for the exact Boolean. You're probably not going to need to use that either. In this case, it actually cleaned up some potential distortions here, but you can kind of play with that and just see what setting works for you. There's also a setting here for this. This doesn't really do too much for me. And then there's another setting here for precision, so you can kind of go in here and adjust that precision. The default ones almost always work well for me. We're going to leave those alone. Now at this point, we can just go ahead and press Control B to run our bevel. And you're going to see we're going to have a perfectly clean bevel on the inside there because of the settings we had before. And just to further clean up the shading, what I want to do here is I want to select one of these edges. You can alt click the same edge. That'll activate L select. Then we're going to go into vertex mode and we're just going to run a simple Boolean cleanup. That'll clean up the shading even further. We're going to do the same thing up here. And then we're just going to go to Boolean cleanup, and I'm going to scroll up once to change to the other side for that Boolean cleanup. Some of these vertices might not be captured, not really a big deal. The main goal is just get this as clean as possible with the most minimal amount of work basically. And you're going to see by doing that, we actually have a pretty clean result here. We do have a shading error. You can easily just go in, normals, weighted normal, and that should clean that up. I've explained why those occur in other videos, so you can just go in here since we have a bevel, add a weighted normal. That'll fix that weird distortion we have there on the mesh. Now, we do still have some small shading errors around here. It's kind of your choice if you want to leave them or if you want to optimize them further. If you want to optimize them further, what you're going to do here is you're going to go to your backup mesh right here. In this backup mesh, if I select it and then just isolate it, has perfect shading. So if you've seen videos on this before, we're going to go ahead and transfer that shading over to this mesh. So I'm going to go here, select the object. We're going to run a, we need to go to data transfer. So edit data transfer. The source is going to be this one. So that one in this case is called O1. We're going to need to choose a vertex group here in a second. We'll do that shortly. But for now, we're just going to go to face corner data, select custom normals, and then choose that projected face interpolated. Now the shading there is clean. The rest of it is super messed up. That's why we need to make a vertex group so we're only selecting the areas we need to transfer. So that's very easy to do. We can just go in here. The easiest way is to select one edge, alt click the edge again. And then if you right click and mark a seam, this is a little hack a lot of you don't know about. If you mark a seam around a boundary, and then you go into face mode and press the L key, it'll select just that boundary, all right? Now this is the only area with bad shading, so I'm just gonna go in, gonna assign that vertex group, and that's gonna be assigned, and now I just have to go into the modifier here, choose that vertex group, and look at that. It's before, and then after. This is going to be a little bit rounded here, as you can see. That's just a result of how the topology is flowing, so not really a big deal. So that's kind of one of the limitations, but if this is just like a concept piece, doesn't really matter. You can see the shading is a lot cleaner now. Next thing we're going to do is the same exact thing to this area. Not that the shading's that bad, but you can see we have some distortions there. So same exact idea. I'm just going to go ahead and go in, and we're going to duplicate this data transfer. So let's just go in, and in this case, we're going to select the O2 mesh, select O2, and same settings, but this time we need a new vertex group. So the easiest solution in this case, since it's so isolated, is probably just to go in and then just increase that selection a little bit and then just deselect these. You could honestly deselect this area as well. And you could also just use the circle select and just kind of get these selected manually. That might be a better option here, just so we're not, transferring the wrong area that already has clean shading. Then we'll just go in, we'll assign that, and then this time I can just go in to the data transfer and choose that new vertex group. And then again, just to show you before, and then after. Now you have perfectly clean shading, even though it's kind of a mess right here with very, very minimal work. And when I say perfect shading, I quite literally mean perfect shading. You're gonna see Even in the worst of matte caps, this is flowing through perfectly. I can go to this matte cap as well. And if I were to turn these off, let me just go in and turn them off to show you, you're gonna see it's very distorted right there. It's very distorted here as well. When you turn that on, it's a lot cleaner. So you're gonna have absolutely perfect shading here with very, very minimal work. And yes, this does work outside of Blender. You need to be careful to make sure you don't need, perfect quad topology. This would work outside of Blender though. You would simply apply the modifiers here, export it, and it's gonna transfer over. So you can see that no matter which matte cap I use, the shading is flawless. So this is a bit of a more advanced approach if you want to use more complex booleans and you still want to maintain as clean shading as possible, because obviously creating a shape like this is going to be, pretty difficult without using this boolean method. So that's it for today's video. Hopefully that was useful. Give this a try for yourself in your next project and you should see how powerful this method can be. If you want to learn our full hard surface modeling workflow from A to Z in under 2 weeks of time with just 30 to 60 minutes per day of work, like over 4,000 students have done at this point, check out our accelerator program in the link in the top of the description or head over to blenderbros.com/accelerator. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.